What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new video where we will discuss Liverpool changing their formation for the new season, because initially Jurgen Klopp didn't really want to sign another striker, but when Sadio Mane told Liverpool that he wants to leave, that's when we pursued Darwin Nunez. And this is what Jurgen Klopp said about the potential formation change. Let me know, what do you think should be Liverpool's main formation? I think against the smaller sides we could easily play the 4-3-3 formation almost every game, but against some of the big teams maybe it's worth trying out the 4-2-3-1 formation where there are two out-and-out defensive midfielders shielding the back four, and then we will have four attacking players, four strikers to really hurt the top teams, because they come out and play the top teams, most of them anyway, against Liverpool, and there will be loads of space to do counter-attacks. And imagine a team with Darwin Nunez up front, Salah on the right, Luis Diaz on the left, and either Bobby Firmino or Fabio Carvalho or even maybe Diogo Jota behind Darwin Nunez, supplying Darwin Nunez with balls. I think that formation could be devastating against small teams and against big teams as well. But let me know, which formation do you want Liverpool to try? I want Liverpool to experiment during pre-season and during the season with different formations, so we can work out the best system to get the best out of Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz and Mo Salah. Darwin Nunez will occupy probably two defenders when he is in the box or near the box, and that will take defenders away from Salah and Luis Diaz. That will make space for them, and they can be devastating when they have space. You saw that in the second half of last season. So Jurgen Klopp said, we knew Darwin was an interesting player, but we didn't think about signing him. There was no talks during the Champions League quarter-final with Benfica. He was on the list of players that we monitored, and we have this Portuguese department who watch each game, even though they struggle a little bit to watch the Benfica games because they are both from the blue side of Porto. But it was clear Darwin Nunez was a really good player, but you don't just go for a player like this just to sign him, just to add him into the team. It was clear we needed to take a look, and it's not that we had a lack of numbers or qualities, but it was a moment, it was clear we had to intensify the interest, and that is what we did. After, of course, Liverpool discovered that Sadio Mane is going to Bayern Munich. I know what we can use immediately with Darwin Nunez, and then we have to see what we can use from there. He's a number 9 who also can play on the wing. If you compare with Sadio, he was a winger who could play as the number 9, so they are a little bit different. That is the difference. We have Luis Diaz, Fabio Carvalho for the left wing as well, Bobby Firmino, who is 100% back. When you see training, it is like, wow, he's definitely back, he's still world class. Mo Salah will be here a long time, and we have Harvey Elliott. So we have so many different interesting options. That is what I like. We did not lose only Sadio Mane, we lost Divock Origi and Taki Minamino, and we all know that without those two boys we would not have won a cup competition last year. It makes sense after a while, as much as we miss Sadio, Divock and Taki, and that you need to refresh your efforts and the way you play. It always depends on the quality of the player. They have different qualities. What can we do? I have an idea, but I am really open to what the boys offer. We could play with a settled formation or use options to change the dynamics on the pitch. There is no decision made yet. I know whatever I can know about Darwin Nunez, and I think I know what we can use immediately, and then we will have to see how we go from there. He's a number 9 who can play on the wing. If you compare with Sadio, he was a winger who could play in the number 9. We have a settled formation if you want, everyone knows how it is like this, but we have some real options to change the dynamics on the pitch, and I think that makes sense for us. So Jurgen Klopp is also thinking about changing the system and changing the dynamic of the game during the game, which we already did that last season, but now we have a player who we didn't really have before. Even during Jurgen Klopp's time, we signed Christian Benteke, I think before Jurgen Klopp came in, and Jurgen Klopp tried to make it work, but he just couldn't. Even though at first he played the Benteke a lot and he scored some goals, but he isn't a high pressing player. That's the big difference. Darwin Nunez, even though he's also a big number 9, a classic striker, he can press like crazy. He's hunting the defenders down all the time. Even against Liverpool he played like that for Benfica. So I think he can play the Jurgen Klopp system. It just depends on what kind of qualities he will show in the game, that Liverpool will design a formation or try out a formation that can get the best out of Darwin Nunez. I think with Darwin Nunez it was kind of clear and everyone agrees he's a pretty good striker, but it's just how we do it. We don't go for the fancy stuff. We want to go for the right player for us, and I think as well because of one part of the quality and the other is character. The character has to fit our way of playing. And in that moment when you buy into the way we play, you immediately get the benefit of how we play. For offensive players, it's pretty cool if you win the ball back up high and you don't have to run back 80 yards and try to catch the ball and then 80 yards to the other direction. These things all happen, and that is why it works, and that is why I hope it will work again. I think Nunez can settle as quickly as Luis Diaz. Luis had no preseason and Luis just stepped in, I don't know, Monday and played Saturday, and it was all good. He was all ready. The reason was Luis, the way he played at Porto was the way we wanted him to play here. So it was not that we give him the script book and say, have a look at that. We just let him play and then just adjust here and there a little bit. That is pretty much how it is with Darwin Nunez as well. We don't want to change Darwin in a week or two or three. Do I want Darwin playing like Bobby Firmino in the same position? No, not at all. It makes no sense. We are talking about a false 9 in Bobby Firmino and a number 9 in Darwin Nunez. That is the difference. We have to adapt a bit around, and if it will be in the first Premier League game or the second or the third or the fourth, I couldn't care less. There is always a public discussion if we would have to do it, and I hope we don't have to, because that would mean we have a lot of injuries. Then we can just work on it, and we will see in training how quickly that will go. So basically he's saying Darwin Nunez will probably not start in the first game of the season or even in the second game, but we have Diogo Jota who can start, and then we can ease Darwin Nunez in and give him some minutes and take it from there. But also this signing will make Liverpool completely difficult to analyze before the game. This is Jurgen Klopp saying it would be a massive difference between him or the other guy playing the position in the game. That is now really different. That is what I like about it. Teams can't really guess how Liverpool will play. It will be really interesting. We had 2 or 3 or 4 years where it was always clear before the preseason even started that we will start up front with Bobby Firmino, Salah and Mane. Now the door is open for pretty much everybody. That is what we have to use. That is what we try to use, not this other pressure of we have to do this. We have enough games that they all will play, and it is about how we can bring ourselves, all of us, in the situation that we make the extra yard, which an amount of joy is pretty much not unimaginable. And that is what I am really looking forward to. I'm not sure what he's getting at in the last sentence, but I think he's saying that we will enjoy the process and try out different formations and try to get the best out of Darwin Nunez. And Paul Joyce also claimed in the Times newspaper that there were a lot of established Premier League clubs interested in taking Harvey Elliott on loan, but Liverpool were never listening to these offers because Harvey Elliott is very high on the priority list and Liverpool want to give him plenty of game time, plenty of opportunities, and he will probably start more games than what Liverpool fans expect. Maybe some Premier League teams thought they could just nick Harvey Elliott because he didn't play a lot of games in the second half of last season because of injury and loss of form, and also because he wasn't in rhythm. But I think Jurgen Klopp has big plans for Harvey Elliott, and I'm really looking forward to it. Blackburn Rovers are also closing in on a deal for Liverpool defender Ben Davies. He spent last season on loan with Sheffield United. Blackburn are now in talks for the defender. He was left out of Liverpool's pre-season tour because Liverpool are just trying to sell him. That's the honest truth. I feel a little bit sorry for him because Ben Davies came in and he was very excited about signing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, but he didn't even get 1 minute when we had that injury crisis with Van Dijk, Gomez and Matip all out injured. And if you can't get a game for Liverpool when all of the centre-backs, the first choice centre-backs are out injured, then it must have been pretty soul-crushing to him. And also finally there was an independent review and investigation into the matters of how the Champions League final unfolded for the Liverpool fans and what an awful organization there was from UEFA. And finally the report came in that Liverpool fans were not to blame for what happened at the Champions League final. It is irrefutable now in the form of the French Senate findings. They presented the findings of their investigation. So the authorities and the French politicians were rightfully slammed for their lies. They blamed the Liverpool fans for weeks, just like the Tory government did when Hillsborough happened. And the newspapers are slamming the politicians and the authorities for their failures. And Gary Lineker said that he was a witness to the events that unfolded in the Champions League final, and it's true that Liverpool fans were completely blameless. In fact, they deserve enormous credit for showing remarkable patience and good behavior under the most trying of circumstances. And I'm so sorry for all the Liverpool fans who were there and who got treated absolutely abysmally. And I'm even more sorry for the fans who got reminded of the Hillsborough incident, because this could have been another tragedy if Liverpool fans weren't behaving so well. And a lot of them, I think, will never go to France to watch a game of football ever again. And I mean, the French authorities can throw all the excuses out. They still should have organized this Champions League final much better. I mean, this Saint-Denis, the stadium, is hosting huge events regularly. So how could they mess up hosting the Champions League final, the biggest club event in club football? I will just never know. Probably very poor organization, and the people who were responsible for this should get punished, in my opinion. So that's it for today's video. Tomorrow I will bring out a longer video on a breaking transfer news story, which I'm still researching, so I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, have a nice day. See you later guys, goodbye.